this meeting of Fraser Park Public Utility District, regular meeting of Thursday, November 18th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Will you please?
Did we lose you?
Where'd he go?
Hello?
He went away.
He dropped off
Completely?
completely.
Yeah, completely. Guess we'll have to wait a minute. Okay, he's reconnecting.
I'm sorry, I pulled the plug on myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Will you please join me in the pledge to the flag? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag of the United States of America,
And
and
to
to the
the
republic for which it stands,
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
with liberty
and
and justice
and justice for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Here,
Director Kelly,
Here.
Director Nyman,
Here.
Director Schoenberg,
here.
Director Garcia is here. Thank you. Number 2, any discussion on an adjustment in the agenda tonight? Not hearing any, we'll move on to number 3. Do we have any public comments in the audience tonight? Not hearing anything, I'll move on to number 4. Financial business, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Good evening, Deborah Angel.
Good evening, Director Garcia.
You have the floor.
Okay, I'm sure you all have a check detail. Did anybody have any questions about it, or did you want me to go through each item individually?
Board?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, so we issued 9 checks for a total of $14,000, $624.06. And as of today, all of the bank accounts are reconciled through October, and all of the credit card statements have been reconciled. I went to the online bank and pulled all the transactions since the October statement through yesterday, and our reconciled check register balance is $79,841.68.
And that's after these checks clear?
Yes, it includes these checks.
And it doesn't include some transfers that I still need to make, although, so.
Well, what I did was I pulled off all the transactions that had cleared through yesterday.
Right.
So that balance includes all of the transactions that cleared the bank through yesterday. It wouldn't be anything that hasn't been done yet.
Right. And the reason it's a little bit low, just so you folks don't worry, is that number one, I transferred money back into the capital improvement reserve. That was a large chunk, the 114,000. Well, actually, that got transferred from a different account, so that's okay. But that was a transfer, and then there's some transfers that are supposed to come back in that are from our last claim, and they haven't all been transferred back yet.
Okay. Any further discussion from the board or questions?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to pay our bills.
I'll move that we pay our bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second it.
Director Kelly has seconded that motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0. Motion carried. Thank you, Deborah Angel.
Thank you. And the one last thing I would like to mention is that I have ordered the 1099 NECs and 1099 miscellaneous so that hopefully we will get those done on due date.
Perfect. We'll appreciate that. Anything
Okay.
else for Deborah Angel before she signs off?
The only thing that I wanted to bring up, and I know that Deborah, you're not going to be here next week. I don't know if there's a possibility if we needed one or two checks, or a check cut, if it's possible for you to cut a check for us. I don't know.
I'm not going to be away necessarily. I should be here on the Hill. So if you contact me, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And
Okay,
if you need a check cut-
we might need a check cut because we didn't get the information. Well, I can't go out of
Yeah, we're
secret.
off
But
topic.
anyhow, that's
just contact me.
all right. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Good night. Moving along,
Night.
number 5.
I would like to know what that is, Director Nyman, when you're,
Well,
When we get to topic.
when we get to the item, I will bring it up.
okay.
Thank you. Number 5, discussion vote or update on the Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. A, discussion vote on Testwell property appraisals and acquisition.
Are we gonna know at the time? Or we don't have?
I have
to?
6:08.
Okay.
D, can we get us caught up on that one?
Yes, I have a call into Valbridge. And we're going to discuss schedules and scheduling the appraisals up at Fraser Park. And I anticipate having that conversation tomorrow. The owner was out of town. Apparently they have a couple of offices, and he was not in the Bakersfield office today. Should be back tomorrow. So we'll get the appraisals scheduled, and then I'll keep you posted as to the timing of those appraisals.
And just for a note for the board, since they weren't part of the meeting with the state this morning, we are going to be asking the state for $10,000 additional for easement appraisals for the French Wainwright property. And we already talked to Lawrence about that. He's fine with that. We just need to send a letter to him and change the budget. So that is in the works so that we have all of the easement appraisals needed as well.
So
Excellent. Thank you.
what I'd like to add is that it's $5,000 for the appraisal of the SIA property, which includes the easement for access to well 7, and also easement to access to that property. And then the French Wainwright is $5,000, and then the additional $10,000 is they say it's going to be like $1,000 for each property. There's like 9 properties along the road, so we have to have easement for each property. So that's what we're doing. And Lawrence approved. All we have to do is a letter with approve to move the 10,000 from contingency into.
It's not actually. It's not exactly. It's 10,000 we'll need, but there's 2,500 left over after we do the two $5,000.
Right, it's $7,500 we need to move.
Correct. 7,500.
Excuse me, I'm corrected.
Thank
That's
you.
okay. I said 10,000 too.
Thank you, Director Nyman, and thank you, Director Schoenberg. Okay. B, discussion vote on moving forward with a resolution for the intention to purpose the Testwell property or easement.
We're not quite ready for that, right? We
Right.
need to
Let's
get the
carry that
official-
over then.
correct, Tiffany. We don't
I agree, Director Schoenberg. Absolutely.
and we don't
let's-
have that resolution written yet, I don't think.
Mhm.
No, that'll
we'll-
be, Dee will signal us when it's time.
Okay,
Okay.
well, let's just carry that over on the agendas. Letter C, discussion vote on district sphere of influence map for the annexation.
I don't think we've done any additional work on that. We need to. That was supposed to be Dee, Johnny, and they were gonna get together with me to look at the map, but we've been so pressed for other stuff that I don't think that that's happened yet. It's not a huge rush, but we do need to do that in the near future. So I think we just need to get together a date and take a look at all the mapping.
Okay, Tiffany, let's go ahead and keep that on the agenda and carry that over. D, discussion vote on project municipal service review, quote, draft MSR, data collection, scope of work, and LAFCO. Wow, that's a lot of work there.
So same with that. It's pushed forward a bit. So we're I think we're trying to do some other details before we actually move forward on that, correct, Dee?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Tiff, let's carry, probably the whole thing. Okay, about E, discussion vote on a new budget adjustment.
That's what we already discussed, so we need to write a letter, and it's gonna be $7,500 moved from contingency to the appraisal line.
So do we need to vote on that, as a whole board?
Yeah, I think we do.
I'll make a motion that we move from contingency to the appraisal $7,500 and write the letter to Lawrence so he can give us approval.
I'll
Do I
second
have
that.
Okay, thank you. Director Schoenberg has seconded it. Roll call directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0, motion carried. F, discussion vote on claim number 12 and other claims or payouts. Who's got
Oh,
something on them?
Carlos, I believe.
Yeah, you want me to read through it again like earlier?
Yeah, just because they weren't here. I mean, we talked about it at the meeting with the
Alright.
state, but they don't know yet, the other directors.
Let me pull it up real quick. Shit.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't mean to cry.
God bless you, brother.
Okay, the total claim. Let me get to that. Here it is. Okay, for for ad hoc meeting and planning meeting, we had a total of $566.66. So it's 500 for the planning and 66.66 for the ad hoc meeting. We had no legal charges from Young and Woolridge, and staff recovery charges were for the month of October were $96.75. So bringing that total 4A for planning, project management, and administration and legal charges totaled $663.41. And for task 2, 4B, test wells design, test well engineering admin, test well drilling, and labor compliance, we had a few invoices for that. So I didn't put the invoice number for test well admin because there was like 3 invoices, so I couldn't fit them in there. So I just put C invoices on that. So that total test well admin equaled $2,673. Total for test well drilling equaled $75,671.50. And actually, that was a question that I was gonna ask earlier, but I forgot. There was no, on the backup info that Tiffany sent me, there was no invoice number. So what should I put there? For invoice?
What do you mean there was no, the invoice that you were provided had no invoice number?
Not the backup detail that, where I wrote the letter, where I wrote the note. Let me pull it
Well,
up real quick.
don't you have an actual invoice from Johnson and Johnson?
No, not for the 70 something $1,000. At first, Tiffany had sent me a, let me get to it real quick.
Well, weren't we supposed to get invoices? One for.
Tiffany
one-
had sent me an invoice earlier that said it's invoice 10196-2, but that invoice was only for 45,300. So then she sent me one that said TESWA 1 and TESWA 2 final payment package. And
Well, D was supposed to
there
get
is invoice
updated.
number 10245 for 10,000, but there's no like, there's not one invoice for the 70 something thousand.
Right, because it was wrong. We had to go through, so I think, weren't you going to get a redone, or you were gonna?
Because remember last meeting, we were to take off what was on on those two invoices because those invoices had and I don't have that.
They had overage, yeah, they had double charges on them.
Yeah, well, I did take it off, but there was not like an official invoice. So
Yeah,
what I was
we-
thinking of about doing was putting, because on the first sheet it says progress estimate number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically we are adding up progress estimate numbers 2, 3, and 4. So that's what I was gonna put, progress estimate number 2, 3, and 4. So I don't know if that suffices for you guys or if you guys need something with an actual invoice.
It would be nice to have an actual invoice personally, but
Well, I mean, my thing is, as long as the state pays the correct amount, I'm not overly concerned about it. But I thought those ones had invoice numbers before that were incorrect, and I thought we were going to get them updated.
D, do you have?
Because one was for the retention, and one was for the retention, and then one was for the last billing.
Correct.
Don't you think we should have an invoice for, did you say it was 70,000?
Yeah.
Like 75,000 something.
I have,
75,000.
Don't you think we should have an invoice for something that big?
Yep.
I've got them, and I thought that I had sent them over to you, Tiffany. Maybe I didn't, but I have all the Johnson invoices.
You've got the revised invoices, though, D. Remember?
Yes,
need to be fixed?
the
Okay.
revised ones that add up to the total of 191,980, which is the total contract amount. And then the revised invoices for payments, number 2, progress payment number 2, and then the 5% retention. So I've got those. I thought I had sent those along, but maybe I hadn't.
Unless all of these that are in here are part of it, but they could be.
Well, I've got 10244, invoice number 10196. August 5th, I've got invoice 10244, October 15th, and 10213, August 23rd. So I've got them all, 10245, 10248. So I do have those, and I apologize if I didn't send those along, Tiffany. I'll get those to you.
Those don't sound like the repaired invoices because we just talked about this not very long ago. It wouldn't be October or August. We just had an issue with this recently
The,
on our last payment.
right. And what they did is they just backdated it to the date
Oh,
of the,
okay.
Well, you know what? If these invoices that are in here in this where I wrote the letter, this should suffice because they are the invoices, and I'm explaining that that we're taking away the 2,000 something. So these should work.
yeah, that was a reduction of
All right, well,
$2,137.
well, why don't you forward it to Carlos and forward it to us and just
It's
in
in,
case, Carlos, just keep them just in case the state comes back and says, hey, we need more documentation because we need to make sure that the invoices we're submitting add up to that amount.
yeah, these invoices that are in here, they're in the claim.
So I did send them along to you, Carlos.
Well, Tiffany gave me this package that
Okay,
it's
yeah.
11 pages.
Okay.
And
So I got
there's
them
just
to Tiffany.
there's a bunch of invoices in here. But yeah, that should work.
We have them, Brahma.
Okay, all righty.
Okay, good.
Okay, and then okay, so test well drilling, like I said, was $75,671 because we overcharged on the first claim from Johnson & Johnson. From Johnson Drilling.
Easy, brother. Calm down.
And so we reduced that amount by the amount that we overcharged on the claim. I think it was claim 9. So that's why it's 75,671 and 50 cents. And then labor compliance charge of 1,680. So that engineering, admin, drilling, and labor compliance come up to a total of $80,024.50. And then the last charge we had was from hydrogeology report, invoice 21-10011. And it's for $3,366. So the total claim 12 is $84,053.91, but in the actual form 260, it's going to round it up to $84,054.
Right.
So that's what the claim is in the amount of $84,054.
Okay.
Okay, any more discussion?
I make a motion that we approve claim 12.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Director Schoenberg, I second the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
I just saw that she she must have dropped off. She should be back in a minute.
oh, okay, thank you. Let's continue. Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. Let's circle back with Director Kelly and see if she's going to come back on.
I don't see her yet.
Well, we can go ahead and process the motion, seeing as how we have it a majority. Let's record that as 4-0-1 absent. Motion carried. And we'll move on to number
And if
6.
you just put a note with that, Tiffany, that she dropped out, technical difficulty.
And she just came back. Well, I just saw her, but there
Yeah,
she
back.
I'm on twice. I'm gonna log off here.
Would the directors like to retake that vote?
I think we're fine. We just need to put a little note in the minutes that reflect that she, because
Electronic
she just
drop.
dropped off again. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I agree.
And
I'm
six,
sorry.
Here we
It
are.
froze and then I had to re-log in.
You're with us now, though. We had gone ahead with the vote on
Claim
5F.
12.
On approving. Yes, on
Claim
approving
12.
yes, claim 12, yes.
So you are
Got it.
logged in as a 0 absentee. So we're gonna
Okay.
go ahead and move because we had a quorum and a majority, so we're gonna go
Yes.
ahead with number 6. Thank you.
Let's go.
Discussion
believe-
vote.
I believe we
Yes.
discussed that both 6 and 7 now are part of the keeping time. So we're not going
Okay.
to note the time until 8.
So I have 6:26.
No, we're not going to note the time until 8.
Oh,
Number
okay.
8.
thank you. Put a little asterisk on that one. Okay, number 6, discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. A, discussion vote update on going out to bid for well 7. We are out to bid for well 7, and we have a date of November 23rd for closing of bidding. Is that correct, Dee? I see you just returned. I said we have a date of November 23rd for closing of accepting bids or for bid opening.
That's correct.
That's what I thought from last meeting. Okay, so we're already out to bid. Let's go on to B, discussion vote on site access through say a property. What do we decide to do on that? We want to pursue that. We want to stay away from that for the time being. Johnny, are you still on here with us?
I can.
I
speak to
am.
that. Oh, Johnny.
I
can
am
speak
still
to
on.
that. But
Yeah, I'm
we
still
will
on.
discuss at the meeting.
We decided that we're going to go ahead and proceed with the easement and the appraisal on the property and acquiring that, because it's going to be, even if we get a good driller, we're looking at several months down the road before they actually start drilling. So I think we decided it'd be better off to proceed with getting the legal easement, the pipeline right away that we could use to access well 7.
Okay.
So
Well,
because
we're sure
we
that's-
plan on, because once we get the appraisal, we'll move forward with buying the property, and that'll include the easement. And and so therefore we should have it in time for whatever comes out on the bid. Isn't that correct, Dee?
That's correct.
Okay.
Excellent.
Right. So
Good.
and that easement actually is part of the previous project, but it will also, we need an easement for the previous project, but that will allow us to get to well 7 as well.
Okay. Dee, one question for you. Do you have a legal description already written for that easement?
No, not yet. Haven't a description written yet, but as soon as we need it, we'll put it together.
Thank you. Okay, so we're making that happen. C, discussion vote on the plans and specs for the meter replacement. Where we at on that, Dee?
That one's about 2 months out, month and a half. We're working on the plans now.
Okay, we're gonna carry that over then, on our planning agendas, Tiffany.
As well as D, because we can't go out to bid till that's done.
Thank you, Director Schoenberg. Okay, E, discussion vote on claims and repayouts. Anything?
Yeah, we talked about this, and Carlos, actually, this one's Oscar, but Oscar can update us. But we did talk about this with the state, and we do indeed have the funding agreement, and we do have the ability to start putting in claims. And there was just some questions, and Oscar can let you know that.
Big O, what's
Yeah,
happening, baby?
So there were some questions on some of the invoices that came in, and we connected with D with the state call. So D should be getting back to me sometime next week, and then that way we can move forward with the first claim.
And that first claim will also have the young Wooldridge, and there was some confusion about where it would go because there, nothing was broken out in this project for admin, but the legal is covered under admin, so we should be fine. It's just going to get charged under admin as opposed to a separate line for legal.
Got a question?
Yes, because there was no line item for legal, but Lawrence indicated that it could be charged under admin.
Okay. Got that, Director Schoenberg?
Yeah, that wasn't a question. That was to inform the board.
Oh, okay, good. I get it now. Number 7. Discussion vote on pipeline replacement project. A, discussion update on project funding.
So again, we talked about this with Lawrence, and he basically, assured us of some things, but it's not going to get tacked on to the meter replacement emergency well supply project because there's separate CEQA issues. So what's going to happen is that we need to, first off, the self-help needs to iron out all of the details of the TA agreement, TA work plan, and we're just waiting for Lake of the Woods to submit what they need to submit. Fraser Park already has that in, and then that will be done, a contract between the state and self-help, and then we can move forward on potholing and mapping. And then they had included, so it's not just potholing mapping, it's now, which actually is further down on D, but basically it's including the preliminary design work and all of that. And that's all going to be done on the TA plan now. And so then once we have a better idea of moving forward, although Lawrence indicated that we could do a generalized letter right away. And so that's something we should probably work on, just a generalized application, so that, saying that we're applying for this funding, but we're not going to have all of the details that are needed until we do the potholing and mapping and the initial design and all of that. So we're just kind of waiting for the TA funds first, and then the rest of it, Lawrence said he'll work with us, and he just kind of tried to assure us that he'll work with us because Director Nyman and I were very worried. We expressed on the state meeting that we're concerned that because the TA contract is taking a while, we're concerned that we're not going to get to the point as rapidly as the state is saying in terms of turning in a construction application, and so the application for the construction of the project. So he was basically assuring us that he will work with us, and that what we could do to sort of get something happening is to do this initial, just a really general application.
Okay, so that pretty much handles all of 7.
Yeah, what I would like to add that the information from Lake of the Woods should be coming in the next couple days to Carlos, and Carlos by the end of next week should be able to put in the work plan, and the work plan will probably take at least a month from the state, hopefully not much longer, in order for us to start the potholing and mapping.
Yeah, it's supposed to be expedited, but we haven't had that luck. It takes a while sometimes. And then I don't think we clarified who would be doing the application. Is that Carlos, that you would be doing the general letter that we need, or general application?
Yeah, it's a general package. It's very simple to fill out, but I will need some info from probably from D and you guys. So I'll show you guys. I'll send over a copy of that general package, and that way you guys can look it over. It's very simple.
I think if we have it, just to vote on submitting it at the next, if we put it on the agenda for the next meeting, that would probably be fine. I don't know if we need to get it in like tomorrow, because I still think it's gonna to start potholing and mapping and the other stuff. So, but I think if we had that ready to go for the next meeting and had it on the agenda, we could move forward.
Okay.
Is that, do you concur with that, Director Nyman and the other directors?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, if there's no more further discussion, let's move on to number 8. Discussion, vote, update on Cal OES Community Powers Resiliency Allocation to Special Districts Grant. A.
Gonna call
discussion,
time?
vote- Let's call time. Hello,
And
6:37.
and that's it for us, right?
Yeah, that's it for you,
Thank you, Carlos.
Carlos.
All right. You guys have a good night.
All right, God bless.
All
you.
right,
Thank you,
everybody.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving if I don't speak to you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. God bless you
Thank
guys.
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
Okay, where we at? Letter A, discussion, vote, update on purchase of the generators.
So that's the one I was talking about, Director Schoenberg,
We
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
get enough information yet?
because
check.
we hadn't gotten that information from D. I know
Right.
you're eating your dinner, D, but we need to talk.
I'll try not to muffle my
Yeah, don't
words.
slobber.
I talked to Curtis today. We're finishing our review of the submittals. We think that probably 40% of the total cost as a down payment will be in the range of what they'll want, 30 to 40% down.
I
But
thought we were supposed to have that amount already, and we were gonna cut a check before this meeting.
They haven't provided that to us. And as soon as we get it, we will let you know.
but the problem is we have to do a
Spend that
report.
money.
Well, and if we don't, if we don't do the report, if we don't have information for the report, and I'm really concerned if we don't have that down payment in soon, that projected date of February 2022 is not going to happen, and we're going to end up paying everything out of pocket.
Then I would suggest that we pay them 40%.
Do it.
I would agree.
Give us a number.
I will. I'll have to calculate that, but I'll get the number to you tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Thank you, D.
Well, then we'll need to get with Director Nyman. You and I will need to get with Deborah and cut a check and take it around.
Yep, that was my point. And you'll have to make a transfer from the account.
Right.
Beautiful. Thank you. Perfect. B, discussion, vote on engineering and design. Where are we at on that?
And can I just say quickly before we move on that A, is that money is in the SLA account, and so I'm going to be moving, that money already exists for the generator, so I'm going to be just moving that SLA account does not have checking associated with it, so I'm just going to be moving that into the operating revenue.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now then, back to B. Discussion, vote on engineering and design.
Really, at this point in time, our assignment there is to design the slabs for the generators. And we don't have that information, where we're going to set them and, the details about that. But as soon as.
So we're going to go ahead and carry that on over, Dean, until this thing grows to the point where we know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. Got that, Tiffany? Thank you. C.
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks. Discussion vote on project progress report for Cal OES.
And that's due before the end of November, correct? So how are we doing this?
Well, we're not gonna be able to vote on it. We're just gonna have to, uh, Tiffany is gonna, we're gonna have to have Johnny and Tiffany put together the progress report and
Yeah, I figured we would put it together with Dee's help as well, and then forward it directly to the ad hoc for your guys' input, and then just submit it. It's not like a legal contract or anything, so the ad hoc should suffice for saying yes, go ahead.
I think if we want, we could just get a vote of a vote allowing the ad hoc to have the final say.
Move on it, absolutely.
Yeah, because Tiffany's the only one that took the training, so she knows what they require is going to be in it, and then
We're
it just be
gonna look it over to see if we catch it.
yeah, of course, yeah,
Well,
no,
and sign it.
absolutely.
Right. So we should do that, and neither Director Nyman or I should be should do the motion or second, because we should both really abstain from that.
I will move that the ad hoc has final approval on the progress report for the Cal OES.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Director Gibson has seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
abstain.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Garcia is an aye. Motion carried, 3-0. 2 abstentions. Thank you. Number 9, discussion vote on community water system COVID relief program.
Tiffany?
Yeah, Johnny forwarded me a email today, so they received the application. It's still under review. And once they approve it, they'll let us know and give us an estimate as to when that check will be sent out.
Perfect. So let's carry this over one more time. Hope this
And-
takes care of it.
And I just want to note, as we noted on the state meeting, that we do want to put something on here in case we need to deal with the 1099s for this. So I think we should just put a line item under 9 that just reminds us to double check on 1099s, because if we do have to send out 1099s, that's going to be a bit of a process for each of the owners that was, or each of the, I guess, customers that was given a relief from this program.
Ooh.
We have to send them a 1099?
We
Well,
don't know yet.
We don't know yet. They're checking with the IRS.
If it's $600 or more, it's likely that we're going to have to 1099 them.
Wow.
All righty then. Number 11.
Good deed goes unpunished.
Director Gibson?
No good deed goes unpunished.
Hey, they're getting
No,
free money. They
we
should be
know that.
okay with that.
We need to vote on, we need to table 10, because 10 we don't have the meeting minutes for yet.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we table number 10
Do I have a second?
Until the next regular meeting.
until the
correct?
next regular meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Schoenberg has seconded that motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson. Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0. Motion carried. Number 11. Discussion vote on well number 5 blending station and purchasing a nitrate analyzer. Is you, Johnny?
No, I've been working with D and P&J, but D, have you gotten an update from P&J by any chance on the nitrate analyzer?
D, are you in a food coma?
He's muted. That's part of the problem.
Sorry. This is a good salad, believe me. This is really good.
Love you, brother.
I will
Get
check
some.
with P&J tomorrow and find out what the situation is with respect to that. P&J was going to order it, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I believe that they were going to order it and let us know on the lead time and everything, but
Okay.
Well, we've already voted to purchase it, right?
yeah, we just want an update on cost and
Right.
what it is.
Okay, we'll carry that over then. Number 12, discussion vote on exempt and non-exempt employee law.
Okay, so I would like to bring to the board that we originally were going to have our attorney come talk to us a little bit more about some of the questions we have about turnaround, or specifically turnaround is the most specific question, and then just some other questions. We're going to be talking about the handbook a little later in the meeting, but what we felt after discussing with Johnny and further discussion with Director Nyman and myself, that it may be best to refer this to the financial ad hoc, just so that we can start some phone calls with it's not going to be, it's in conjunction with the handbook, so it's going to take a little bit of work to really get a handle
Iron
on
it out. I get it.
yeah, so I would like to I can't make the motion again, nor second it, nor vote on it, but I would like to entertain that we create a motion that allows the ad hoc to work with us, with Johnny, and at least get an idea of everything, and then be able to bring it back to the board.
Perfect.
I have a question. The people that were paying, can't think of their name right now, to handle the handbook, they don't have information on this? We have to go to the attorney?
Well, yeah, so
What?
pass, but we're going back and forth between pass and the attorney.
And they actually, when we read the employee handbook, it's going to have information on exempt and non-exempt employee too. So when we get to the employee handbook, we'll see a lot of that cleared up as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the ultimate, in passes contract, really, it always has to refer back to our attorney, because they are willing to provide us letters, they're willing to provide certain things, they're willing to form the handbook, but we still have to have the attorney give us the ultimate say so, because they in their contract, it says that they are not the ultimate authority on that, and we still have to run it by our attorney.
Okay.
Hey, just as a side note, we're done. D doesn't have to stay on the phone for the rest of this, right?
I
No.
don't so.
No, D, you can continue eating your salad and have a good evening, and we will be in touch. You'll give us the information for the generators tomorrow, and so we can get that going. And if I don't talk to you, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, and you folks too.
Yeah, we'll probably bother you all the way up until Thanksgiving. No.
That's okay.
Thank you, D.
Thanksgiving morning, though.
Thank you, D.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
Thank you, D. Good night.
Okay. So then
Alrighty then.
I will move that the financial ad hoc expand into finding out information on the exempt and non-exempt employee law.
Good motion. I'll second it.
All right, Director Gibson has seconded that motion. Roll call directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Abstain.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Garcia is an aye. 3-0, 2 abstentions, motion carried. Okay. Number 13, discussion vote on general manager contracts. I thought we had approved this. so-
Yeah, so let
What-
me just speak to it.
Go ahead, Director Schoenberg, please.
So we already approved the money portion, but we wanted to send it to the attorney to make sure that there wasn't additional wording that was needed, and Johnny had redlined some stuff and made the changes that we needed to the previous contract we had with him, which was 2018, I believe. So what happened is Jerry Pearson added a number of kind of boilerplate lines about that have to do with proprietary information, and that Johnny, is not allowed to. It doesn't specifically say Johnny; it says it, which is, I think, the new
Ooh.
word. That's the new
Yeah.
word, because we can't say he or she or so. So it refers to it.
Doesn't it?
For any general manager, but it's just general wording for general managers that they are, that they are dealing with confidential proprietary information, and that it is not to leave with them if they were to leave. It is not to be discussed while they're in our employ. So it's just like some basic legalese wording, and hopefully you guys all read that. It's in green on the one that we received by email. And so yeah, I read all through it, and I'm fine with it. There were a couple missing words, but it still reads correctly, so I don't think we need to make any changes to it. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I believe it's just a matter of, he added basically a couple of pages of legalese, but it's the same contract, just more thorough now pertaining to current law.
And the only thing that we need to add, which we do not have on there, is the attachment, which is and that we have to go through when we do the handbook, and then it will be attached to this contract, but it's the actual job description that is incorrect, because we've never revised it from the last one, which it needs some revision. So but that's an attachment to the contract. So if everyone's okay with it, I'd like to move that we approve the amended contract for general manager and sign
With the changes?
with the changes that were made.
Do I have a
And
second?
actually, can I add one thing to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your
That
motion.
And that as soon as we have an attachment worked out for the actual job description, that we add that to the contract.
Do I have a second now?
Second it.
Director Gibson has seconded that motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0, motion carried. Okay, we're close to the end. Anybody want a break or need a break?
Well, the employee handbook's gonna take a while.
Well,
I think
then
we
let's-
should put a time limit on it.
Great.
I would like to, I don't want to take a break. I want to move forward, but I don't know if anyone else needs a break. But when we get to 14, I have a couple of things I would like to say before we start in on the handbook.
Okay, well, this is the time right now. Number 14 is discussion vote on the employee handbook.
Did any of the other directors want to take a break, or are they? I mean, I'm not.
I did not hear that. Did any of
No.
the other directors want to take a break?
No.
I'm fine.
That's
Okay.
what I thought. Director Schoenberg. move
Okay,
forward.
so I would just like to set forth some sort of rules for engaging in the discussion on the employee handbook, because there are a number of issues that, again, just like the exempt, non-exempt, that need to be discussed with the attorney, because I don't think that we actually know the law well enough. So I would like to say, we read through, and then we make a list of, and rather than discussing round and round about something we may not have enough knowledge about, that we just make a list of the changes that need to be discussed. And then anything that needs to go to the attorney can go to the attorney. If it's something that we are able to discuss without the attorney, that's fine. But I'd also like to limit us going round and round about that, so that if it starts becoming a heated discussion or anything like that, that we move that to discussion with the attorney first to make sure that we're correct, and then we can bring it back into the general body.
Makes sense to me. Anybody have
Me
any
too.
discussion or comment
Nope.
on that?
I think that's a great idea personally.
Let's move forward then.
And can we do it just as a thought, like when Tiffany was doing the Brown Act, where we just set aside a certain time period or time frame and work through that and do it at each meeting instead of trying to plow through it all at once?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying
I
to.
think that's a great idea.
There's no way we're going to plow through it all at once. So
Yeah.
that was my idea, is that it be on the agenda for every single meeting, including the regular planning meeting, unless we have a special meeting. But for every regular meeting that we have, that it be on the agenda, and that we spend, and we should probably like vote on an amount of time to spend on it, but that we spend it every single meeting.
What do you think? A half hour is good?
I think
Sounds great to me.
I think that's long enough to accomplish things, and yet short enough to where we don't just lose our minds.
Get overwhelmed, yeah.
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion that we work on the handbook at every meeting, and that we spend no more than a half hour at a time, and that we adopt the rules that Director Schoenberg has set forth for dealing with the handbook.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Doggone it. Director Gibson has seconded this motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Colleen.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0, motion carried.
Can I ask Tiffany of something
Donnie,
real quick?
please. Absolutely, brother. Go ahead.
Tiffany, have you got the electronic version of this on the laptop? Of the employee
Yes.
handbook? I was just
wondering.
I was wondering if you could follow along with it on the electronic version and make notes on it on your end, so we everybody's notes are all compiled, whatever we decide on this.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah, we'll do my best.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. I'll make notes on mine too, just to make sure, but just as a thought.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Shall we start?
Sure.
Would you like to lead us off, Director Schoenberg?
Sure. I'm going to skip the pages, the index, because that's going to change potentially. So I'm going to start with introductory statement under general provisions. This employee handbook contains an overview of the policies and practices of Fraser Park Public Utility District, the district, and is intended to explain the terms and conditions of employment of all full and part-time employees. It is designed to give you a ready reference to answer many of your questions regarding your employment with us. We intend for this handbook to offer two-way communication, what you can expect from us and what we can expect from you.
Any corrections?
I think we may need to add, and that would be a question again for the attorney, since we have these questions about non-exempt, exempt, that it would say this is for full and part-time non-exempt employees.
Okay, we can make that a footnote or Make note of that. Whatever you. Yeah.
Say that again, full and
Well, because
Full and
Johnny's
part-time,
right, because the general
non-exempt employees.
manager is a little bit separate from this, even though we're going to give a job description. That exempt employees, I think, have slightly different rules than non-exempt. So I think if we write this for non-exempt, and and then talk to the attorney about how, if we need any wording elsewhere, or how we would deal with the exempt. But it's basically for the non-exempt.
Isn't that redundant? Because it's the employee handbook for employees. And then we have a manager. I mean, it's a lawyer question. I get it.
The handbook does talk later on about exempt and non-exempt, but I think what Lisa's getting at is me as the manager. I'm governed by my job description and my contract, and then this book, unless otherwise specified, is for the non-exempt employees, or the whichever terminology that is.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we should address that first, because you're the only non-exempt employee we have. So for as a general rule, we're dealing with non-exempt employees.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's my point.
Yeah.
To say it's for non-exempt, isn't it redundant because it's the employee handbook? But I mean, I don't want to cause a fight over it. If you want to add non-exempt employees, great.
Here's the rule. We're already going round and round about this. I think we should just refer that to the.
Yeah. Of course, no problem.
Love it.
Right to revise. Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
See how that smooths everything out.
I'll finish out this the next couple paragraphs so we get to right to revise. This handbook summarizes the policies and practices in effect at the time of publication, and is only a summary of the benefits, policies, and regulations of the district. This handbook supersedes all previously issued handbooks and any policy or benefit statements or memoranda that are inconsistent with the policies described here. The general manager will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Written employment contracts between the district and some individuals may supersede some of the provisions of this handbook. This handbook shall not be construed as creating any kind of employment contract between you and the district.
Any comments? Sounds pretty standard stuff to me. Would you like to continue, or do you like somebody else to continue, Director Schoenberg?
Whichever you would like.
If you're not tired, I would appreciate it if you continue.
Okay, right to revise. The district reserves the right to revise, modify, delete, or add to any and all policies, procedures, work rules, or benefits stated in this handbook or in any other document except for the policy of at-will employment. However, any such changes must be in writing and must be approved by the board of directors. No oral statements or representations can in any way alter the provisions of this handbook. Any written changes to this handbook will be distributed to all employees so that employees will be aware of the new policies or procedures. No oral statements or representations can in any way
alter.
Oral statements or representations can in any way alter the provisions of this handbook. At-will employment status, sorry about that. At-will employment status. Unless otherwise provided in a written employment contract approved by the board of directors, district personnel are employed on an at-will basis. Employment at will means that the employment relationship may be terminated with or without cause and with or without advance notice at any time by the employee or the district. Nothing in this handbook shall limit the right to terminate at will employment. No manager, supervisor, or employee of the district has any authority to enter into an agreement for employment for any specified period of time or to make an agreement for employment on other than at-will terms. Only the board of directors of the district has the authority to make any such agreement, which is binding only if it is in writing. So I just wanted to note that on the contract we just approved for our general manager, it's still an at-will contract, even though it's noted for 5 years. So, and
Yeah,
it gives the same
Be
provisions.
terminated by either party.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, this handbook sets forth the entire agreement between you and the district as to the duration of employment and the circumstances under which employment may be terminated. Nothing in this handbook or in any other personnel document, including benefit plan descriptions, creates or is intended to create a promise or representation of continued employment for any employee. Nothing in this at-will statement is intended to interfere with an employee's rights to communicate or work with others toward altering the terms and conditions of his or her employment.
Mhm.
You still good?
Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay.
Continue, please.
Yep.
Equal employment opportunity. The district is an equal opportunity employer and makes employment decisions on the basis of merit. We want to have the best available persons in every job. District policy prohibits unlawful discrimination based on race, color, creed, gender, including gender identity and gender expression, religion, all aspects of religious beliefs, observance or practice, including religious dress or grooming practices, marital status, registered domestic partner status, age, national origin, ancestry, physical or mental disability, medical condition including cancer, a record or history of cancer, and genetic characteristics, sex including pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, or related medical condition, genetic information, sexual orientation, military and veteran status, or any other consideration made unlawful by federal, state, or local laws. It also prohibits unlawful discrimination based on the perception that anyone has any of those characteristics or is associated with a person who has or is perceived as having any of those characteristics. Discrimination can also include failing to reasonably accommodate religious practices or qualified individuals with disabilities where the accommodation does not pose an undue hardship. All such discrimination is unlawful. The district is committed to compliance with all applicable laws providing equal employment opportunities. The commitment applies to all persons involved in district operations. The district prohibits unlawful discrimination against any job applicant, employee, or unpaid intern by any employee of the district, including supervisors and coworkers. If you believe you have been subjected to any form of unlawful discrimination, submit a written complaint to the general manager. If the circumstances warrant, a complaint may be submitted to the president of the board of directors. Your complaint should be specific and should include the names of the individuals involved and the names of any witnesses. The district will immediately undertake an effective, thorough, and objective investigation and attempt to resolve the situation. If the district determines that unlawful discrimination has occurred, effective remedial action will be taken
Commensurate.
with the severity of the offense. Appropriate action also will be taken to deter any further discrimination. The district will not retaliate against you for filing a complaint and will not knowingly permit retaliation by management, employees, or your coworkers. I think that's just missing a comma, by management, comma, employees, or your coworkers. I haven't really been looking for that.
I
kind of stuff,
agree.
but
I
it was-
agree with that.
It was
I agree
noticeable.
with that suggestion for the correction.
Okay. To comply with applicable laws ensuring equal employment opportunities to qualified individuals with a disability, the district will make reasonable accommodations for the known physical or mental limitations of an otherwise qualified individual with a disability who is an applicant or an employee unless undue hardship would result. Any job applicant or employee who requires an accommodation in order to perform the essential functions of the job should contact the general manager to discuss the need for an accommodation. The district will engage in an interactive process with the employee to identify possible accommodations, if any, which will help the applicant or employee perform the job. An applicant, employee, or unpaid intern who requires an accommodation of a religious belief or practice, including religious dress and grooming practices, such as religious clothing or hairstyles, should also contact the general manager to discuss the need for an accommodation. On. To move forward?
Yes.
Yes, yes, please, if you're okay, otherwise I'll get another reader.
Okay, anti-harassment. The district is committed to providing, what was that?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I heard something, sorry. Okay, the district is committed to providing a work environment free of harassment, disrespectful, or other unprofessional conduct. District policy prohibits conduct that is disrespectful, unprofessional, or harassing based on sex, including pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, or related medical conditions, race, religion, including religious dress and grooming practices, color, gender, including gender identity and gender expression, national origin, ancestry, physical or mental disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, registered domestic partner status, age, sexual orientation, military and veteran status, or any other basis protected by federal, state, or local law, ordinance, or regulation. It also prohibits harassment, disrespectful, or unprofessional conduct based on the perception that anyone has any of those characteristics or is associated with a person who has or is perceived as having any of those characteristics. All such conduct violates district policy.
Okay, would you like to have someone take over for you?
Sure, fine.
Director Nyman, would you please read, starting at top of page 8?
The district's anti-harassment policy applies to all persons involved in the operation of the district and prohibits harassment, disrespectful, or unprofessional conduct by any employee of the district, including supervisors and managers, as well as vendors, customers, independent contractors, and any other persons. Applicants, employees, unpaid interns, volunteers, independent contracts are protected from harassment. Stop. Just a second. Lay down. Go lay down.
Okay, I'll continue. Prohibited harassment. Disrespectful or unprofessional conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following behavior: verbal conduct such as epithets, derogatory jokes or comments, slurs, or unwanted sexual advances, invitations, or comments. Visual displays of such as derogatory and or sexually oriented posters, photography, cartoons, drawings, or gestures. Physical conduct, including assault, unwanted touching, intentionally blocking normal movement, or interfering with work because of sex, race, or any other protected basis. Threats and demands to submit to sexual requests as a condition of continued employment or to avoid some other loss, and offers of employment benefits in return for sexual favors. Retaliation for reporting or threatening to report harassment, and communication via electronic media or any type that includes any conduct that is prohibited by state and or federal law or by district policy. Sexual harassment does not need to be motivated by sexual desire to be unlawful or to violate this policy. For example, hostile acts toward an employee because of his or her gender can amount to sexual harassment. Regardless of whether the treatment is motivated by any sexual desire, if you believe that you have been the subject of harassment or other prohibited conduct, bring your complaint to the general manager as soon as possible after the incident. If the general manager is involved in the conduct, your complaint should be brought to the president of the board of directors in writing.
Brought to it. Wait, stop. Should be brought the president. It needs a to, the word to.
Yeah, good catch. The president of the board of directors in writing. You will be asked to provide details of the incident or incidents, names of individuals involved, and names of any witnesses. The district will immediately undertake an effective, thorough, and objective investigation of the allegations. If the district determines that harassment or other prohibited conduct has occurred, effective remedial action will be taken in accordance with the circumstances involved. Any employee determined by the district to be responsible for harassment or other prohibited conduct will be subject to appropriate disciplinary action up to and including termination. A district representative will advise all parties concerned with the results of the investigation. The district will not retaliate against you for filing a complaint and will not tolerate or permit retaliation by management, employees, or co-workers. The district encourages all individuals to report any incidents of harassment or other prohibited conduct forbidden by this policy immediately so the complaints can be quickly and fairly resolved. You also should be aware that the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing investigate and prosecute complaints of prohibited harassment in employment. If you think you have been harassed or that you have been retaliated against for resisting or complaining, you may file a complaint with the appropriate agency. The nearest office is listed in the telephone book, or can be found by visiting the agency website at www.dfehcalifornia.ca.gov and www.eeoc.gov. Open door policy. Suggestions for improving the district are always welcome. At some point, you may have a complaint, suggestion, or question about your job or working conditions or the treatment you are receiving. Your good faith complaints, questions, and suggestions also are of concern to the district. We ask you to first discuss your concerns with your supervisor. Following these steps, within a week of the occurrence, bring the situation to the attention of your immediate supervisor, who will then investigate and provide a solution or explanation. If the problem persists, you may present it to the general manager, who will investigate and provide a solution or explanation. While a written complaint will assist us in investigating your concerns, it is not required that you put your complaint in writing. If you need assistance with your complaint or you prefer to make a complaint in person, contact the general manager. We encourage you to bring the matter to the general manager as soon as possible after you believe that your immediate supervisor has failed to resolve it. This procedure, which we believe is important for both you and the district, cannot guarantee that every problem will be resolved to your satisfaction. However, the district values your observations, and you should feel free to raise issues of concern in good faith without the fear of retaliation. Appointment.
Okay, what that's missing is it's missing if for some reason they have some sort of complaints or what suggestion that's not being resolved, how they would take it to the board.
You're supposed to put it in writing and give it to me.
Yeah, but it doesn't say it.
So we need to add that.
Correct.
Okay. Did you want to offer wording, or how did you want to get that in there?
Just to make sure that we check with the attorney too. If somebody requests something that I think is absolutely silly, do they still have the right to want to take it to the full board? I mean, this is about open door policy and making suggestions. Now the treatment, I guess that makes sense.
If you thought it was silly and you brought it to us yourself, we would talk about it in a board meeting. But if the employee did not concur with us, or if the board did not concur, then it just needs some wording to
All right, I made a note, and we'll ask how they want that to be, because everything we've read so far, I think, is going to be governed by the latest laws and rules. But I put I put it just rough verbiage. Add if unresolved, write letter to board president. That same blurb that's on the previous stuff.
Right.
In which case, I bring it to the board anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just not spelled out, and we're just trying to get everything spelled out.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, sounds good.
Erase the blurry areas.
Yep.
Can't they take it to pass too?
they can, yes, as long as, but didn't we discontinue the 800 number?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did discontinue the 800 number, yeah, but all the complaints still apply, just like all the other previous stuff we just had.
Right.
That we read up to this point. So it just needs that extra blurb in that one last paragraph, that one last section about open door policy.
Got it. Okay.
But I agree with Director Gibson that nowhere in here does it talk about ever being able to go to our, and I believe they're still, even without the 800 number, they're still allowed to contact PASS according to our contract with them. So we might want some verbiage in there about how that happens as well.
That's part of why we have passed, right? We need help with
Exactly.
HR. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, but, well, yeah, it's, well, now what we're paying for is for me to go to pass and ask for help with writing letters and getting forms and stuff like that. The 800 number was designed for dealing with employees, but maybe they'll work out some other deal with us for, per phone call. How much it's going to be.
No, I believe it's already included. It's just that the 800 number was a not per phone call. Yeah, it's already in the contract. If we go back and look at the contract with PASS, it's just that that was just to make it easier so anyone could call in and take a little bit longer on the phone with them. But I believe they can still go to PASS.
Okay.
I think it mentioned in the contract they could email PASS if they had something.
Well, I added that already.
If they felt uncomfortable, yeah.
So let's stop.
I added that on there, and I would assume that when we're done with this, we'll send it to PASS to make changes other than the stuff we have to ask the attorney, and PASS will add their blurb in there for how to contact them.
Correct.
Okay, board, I think we're at a half-hour mark. Started at 10 to 7. It's now 7:20. Like to
Perfect.
table
Good
this.
stopping
Move.
point.
I think so. I think we've made some great progress.
So can we just make a note of where we stopped, Tiffany, on the
Top of page 10. We
10.
haven't started page 10 yet. Hiring. Noted, duly noted. Beautiful.
Me, yes, page 10.
Okay. Number 15. Discussion vote on resolution FB 202-11118-01, renewing the use of remote teleconference meetings under AB 361. We have any discussion on that? Do we want, I think the discussion is, do we want to come back to face-to-face meetings before the 1st of January 2022, or our first meeting in January 2022? I think that was pretty much the only discussion I heard. If there's more, please let me know.
I am not in favor of that because the COVID caseload is going back up again, spiking back up in California, surging as they call it. And so
Okay.
I am not
Let's
okay
have some
with
discussion on it then. What would you like to see?
I would like to see us continue and
3 months, 4 months, 6 months? What do
no.
We have to vote on it every month.
You have to vote on it every month. And right now, we don't know what's going to happen the first of the year, because if the governor of California does not, it really depends on, right now, it's not addressed clearly, I guess is the best way to put it. So right now, I believe that this will last possibly up through December, the end of December, but I think in January, all bets are off as to what he does for the new year. So we kind of have to wait. If we won't be able to, but we're only addressing the use of remote teleconference for December with this resolution.
Okay, do I have a motion? I'll entertain a motion reflecting those feelings.
Okay, I'd like to move that we adopt resolution FP 2021-111801, renewing the use of remote teleconference meetings under AB 3661 for the month of December.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Second it.
Director Gibson has seconded that motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson. Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Nyman. Director Nyman.
Oh, aye. I said
Hello. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0. Motion carried. Okay, number 16, discussion vote on future agenda item. How do you feel, Tiffany? You think you got everything along the way?
I do, and for December 9th, we will have the rotating board positions on the agenda.
Mm.
Anything else? Any of the board members want to bring up? Not hearing anything, we'll move to number 17. I'll entertain a motion for adjourning.
I make a motion that
Make
we
a motion. I'll second it.
Good
Director
move.
Gibson has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0. Motion carried. Let's see here.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes,
Let's
happy Thanksgiving.
adjourn
Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Safe
27.
driving.
I can't believe
Thanksgiving.
it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are adjourned.
Good night. Thank
Okay,
you,
bye-bye.
everyone.
Good work. We're getting better at this thing.